Okay, I'm going to show you how you can use the for each loop. The for each loop is specifically used with arrays, unlike while and for, which are counting loops that can generate content from nothing. For each has to specifically target an existing array. So I'm going to create an array. Let's make something called animals, and we'll give it an array value of a string that has, I don't know, like 3 different things in it. We'll do uh, something like dogs, cats, and fish. All right, dogs, and then cats, and then we'll do fish. Okay, and so this is a simple indexed array. All right, now the for each loop has 2 different types of syntax. It has a syntax that deals with indexed arrays, and it also has a type of syntax that deals with associative arrays. We're going to start with the indexed arrays. So that's why we're going to create first just a simple indexed array. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and explain the syntax for the for each control structure. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing out the basic syntax. Oops. Okay, so it looks so similar to many other things so far. So we have for each, parentheses, and then curly braces. In the parentheses, the first thing you're going to do is put the name of the array that you're going to loop through. So we'll say array name. I'm just going to type in some just like English stuff here. So you'd say for each array name as, and then you're going to create a variable. You could put any variable name here that you want because it's going to be a temporary variable. So we'll say temp value variable. And what the temporary value variable is it's going to be something that you can use as a temporary, it's like a temporary container kind of, that you can use to target each and every individual value that's inside of that array. All right, because remember the key is going to be 0, 1, 2. So 0, 1, and 2 for this array because we didn't specifically define keys. So what we care about is grabbing the value, right? So this variable, it's temporary, meaning that it's only good for the use of the duration while we're inside of this loop, okay? And then the loop kind of throws it away after that. So if we just create something that's simple here, it could be called value. It could be called animal. It could be called anything, right? So what I'm going to do is sometimes what I like to do is create a temporary variable name right here that makes sense for the thing that I'm actually trying to access. If I know like what kind of variable it's, you know, what kind of item is going to be inside of that array. And then anyway, what you would do here is you would say, to continue my like English, you know, architecture, say do something with, and then you would, you know, have your temp, temp value variable, okay? Sorry, I keep mistyping. All right, and so that would be sort of like the common syntax that you would use. So it's the same, what you're saying is for every value that basically is inside of the array, do something with that temporary value. That's all it's saying. So let's actually go ahead and substitute the correct things in here. So we'll say animals is the array. And let's say that because we know that it has a bunch of animals in there, let's say that we're going to have a variable called this animal. Okay, and I'm going to use camel case. So where it says do something with this temporary variable, let's replace that with echo, and we can do, let's do a list item, and we'll just do a concatenation. Okay, so we'll concatenate, and then we'll say this animal, and then we'll concatenate with another string that has the ending list item in it, ending list item tag, like that. So this is just basically going to build us a little list. Even though I don't have the UL tags, forget the UL tags for right now. If I wanted to, I could come and put them before and the after the PHP tags. But for right now, I'll just leave that alone. Okay, and let's just save this and come over here, and I'm going to refresh my page, and you see it gives me 3 list items: dogs, cats, fish. And what that's doing, here, let me just actually separate the lines so that you can see it better. The for each loop is looping through the animals array with a temporary variable name that is going to target the values, right? These are the values in this indexed array. Okay, now, like I said, if I wanted to, I could change these list items into some, I could actually change them into a paragraph if I want. So I could do P and P, right? That's one option. Okay, so let's try that. And then now I don't have to worry about having a beginning UL tag and an ending UL tag. But if you wanted to have it as a list, you would just put your UL tag before the PHP and your ending one right after the ending of the PHP. So that's really simple. That's how you loop through an indexed array. Now, let's say that we want to do something that's got a little bit more information stored about all of these items. Like maybe we want to have a description of dogs, a description of cats, a description of fish, and so on. So let's come down here into the associative array area, and let's create something that's very similar. We'll redefine animals. I'm just going to paste that. But what I'll do here is I'll make an array that's a little bit more complex. And just so you can see it really easily, I'll make the syntax also easier to understand. Okay, so we have this array that has dogs, cats, and fish. All right, but what I really want to do is I want to have dogs, cats, fish. I want the type of animal to be the key, and I want the description to be the value. So if you remember back to our array lesson, you can have a key in an associative array that's a string, and then the value can be a string too if you want it to be. So dogs, let's say, are loyal pets. Let's just say that they're loyal. We'll just have a descriptor there, okay? And then cats are going to be, let's just say, lazy. It's not necessarily true, but I've had some pretty lazy cats in my day. Okay, and then fish, let's just say fish are, I think one of the nicest things I can say about them is that they're oily pets in terms of being pets. Okay, so, and sorry if you really like fish. This is what I've got for my array. All right, and if you remember the syntax, just so you understand, is that this is the key, and you could sort of think of that is to the value. Okay, so the key is to the value, right? So these are key value pairs, right? So if we want to loop through that, the syntax is going to be really, really similar to the one up here. I'm going to just copy this for each animals as this animal thing. I want to copy this, and I'm going to paste it down here, and we're going to do something a little bit different. And the only difference that the for each syntax has when you're using it with an associative array is that you're going to have the value, right? So you'll have the value, but you're also going to have the key. Right, so we're going to do this a little differently. This doesn't really jive anymore where it's this animal. Now this animal is the actual key. If you want to just make it really clean and simple and easy to understand, we're going to make a temporary variable called key, and then you would put is to, and then we'll say value. And then that way you don't have to get confused about what's what down here. Okay, so the first thing we can do actually is put the name, which is the key, right? So that's the key. So we'll say key, and then inside of the actual HTML part, I'm going to say R, and then we want a descriptor of what kind of pets they are. So we'll just put, I'm going to say descriptor descriptor pets. Okay, and then this way we can figure out that the descriptor goes right here. Okay, so to do that, then what we would want is to concatenate and separate that descriptor out, and then what we can do where it says descriptor is we can just change, oops, I did this wrong. Here, let's put the concatenation mark outside of the string. So we can change where it says descriptor. Instead, we're going to put value, right? So we're basically saying that we have a starting paragraph, key, our descriptor, pets. Oh, and then I can put a period at the end, all right? And let's see what that does. I'm going to hit save, come over here, and I'll hit refresh. And you see it says dogs are loyal pets, cats are lazy pets, fish are oily pets. Well, I forgot to put a space right there after R, or before R. So let's save that, update it, and refresh. And now you can see that we've got these sentences. And if you wanted all of the first letters to be uppercase, that's really simple too. You could come here and right around the key, you could put UC words function right around. Remember that from our strings lesson. All right, we can make that uppercase, hit refresh. You got dogs are loyal pets, cats are lazy pets, fish are oily pets. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, right? So that's the way that you would use for each loop to pull something out of pull stuff out of associative arrays and print both the key and the value to the screen.